But we now have a new variant. With most of the country already under extreme measures, it's clear that we need to do more together. That means the government is once again instructing you to stay at home.
You're joking. Not another one?
Oh, yes! Hello, from one of your most underrated hosts. Or overrated. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided which way around it is yet.
Got to be done though, innit? Got to be done. How you doing?
Well, all right. Well, actually, I'm better than all right because we won again. We came from behind.
I can't believe you won. That's amazing.
And we're in the Tuchel era as well, or Tuchel. I haven't decided on that either. Is it Tuchel or Tuchel? I'm Tom.
I've been calling Thomas Tuchel because I think that sounds a bit cooler than Thomas Tuchel.
But nobody makes him sound like he's too cool.
He is too cool. Did you see him in his jacket last night?
How did you think it went last night?
He is one cool German. We played all right.
Apparently you absolutely dominated. Obviously we were at the same time, so I didn't watch any of it. But apparently you absolutely dominated the game, but just didn't really ever look like scoring.
Do you know what it was? And I think because of the how quick it changed over, like obviously Lampard going and literally the next day Tuchel's in and he only had one training session. So it was literally that kind of game where he hasn't really got the team hasn't really got any clue what they're meant to be doing yet, whether it's Lampard's ways.
Do you think it was questionable dropping those players?
I think, do you know what? When I first saw it, I was fuming because if there's anyone in the team that didn't deserve to be dropped out of all those players, it was Mason Mount because he's been
I agree.
Our best player this season. But when he said it, because of the quick turnaround, because it was a game that we couldn't afford to lose, I kind of agreed that he just went for experience just for this one-off game.
But even with a Wolves team that are doing so badly.
Yeah, but I think it was a professional job, really. I think that's what needed to be done. I think he'd come in, he didn't really know, like, even though he's got like quite a good knowledge of football, he won't really know a lot about players like Mason Mount. Do you know what I mean? Whereas he's going to know about Jorginho, he's going to know about Kovacic. So he probably went, for this game, I'll just play
Billy,
them.
who? I've never heard of you.
What's your name? I can't understand you. You're Scottish. But
I've never heard this name, Reek James, before.
Mason Mount. But it was. I think when you look back at it, it was probably.
It might be nice to like dominate possession because you haven't done that in feels like forever.
Do you know what it was? It was very us. It was a bit more quicker. The tempo was a bit better. Hudson-Odoi, that's the best I've ever seen him play in a Chelsea
I think he's been one of your better players this season. And I very much don't think he's that good. I never thought he was that good of a player.
He looked all right. He was more direct yesterday. He was a bit more. If something was going to happen, it was going to come through him. But yeah, it was. I can't really judge last night because he only had one training session.
He was lucky, Tom. Tuchel. He because if he'd come a couple of days later, he would have had to isolate or quarantine.
I know.
How lucky is that?
How mad is literally that is crazy. But now, obviously, going into the weekend, it is the Manton Avenue derby.
I know. Well, you should be worried. We'd scored 7 goals in 3 games. I had a nosebleed probably last night.
You scored more in 3 games than you have in a season before.
Well, I know. Everyone was going, we have this goal scoring record. It wouldn't surprise me if one of the top scorers in the league now. Not joking. But, yeah, I mean, I can't. You should be a little bit worried. Bloody, even Chris Wood scored.
I know. It's about his time. He's defrosted now. He's defrosting now.
He got over the. He must struggle so. I know he's been here 10 years. He must struggle so much in the winter. He probably turns up at Burnley in December and he's just everyone.
That's why he's fine in September. You're like because it's nice and warm.
Fine in September. Did you see him play in September? Oh my word!
But he hibernates for the winter and then comes out in the summer because it's nice and warm. He goes to the famous fish and chip shop, gets a fish and chips, and then goes
drive-through. He gets a drive-through fish and chips.
Apparently, that's the best fish and chip shop in the world.
Well, I've never been, but I'm sure it is. Actually, I don't know. There's one near me. It's pretty good, but it's not drive-through. So at least if he drives through, he can keep the air conditioning on full blast. That's why they built it. It's gonna, we have the Royal Dutch. It's gonna be the Kiwi Chris.
Chris, Fish and Chris.
So bad.
That's awful. I'm ashamed of that.
Boo. I need to get
But,
those fake crowd noises they have on Sky Sports. Boo! Boo!
When it goes miles over the bar. Oh!
It was like Ramsdale caught it in the last minute yesterday, and everyone was going, "Yeah!" Oh. I'd celebrate if Ramsdale.
That's one thing when the fans come back. I'm gonna miss the fan noise. I really will because it's just so
they
bad.
keep it on.
Yeah, they should do. Can you imagine?
On Sky Sports 1, it's not been Sky Sports 1 in years. It's Sky Sports main event. You can listen to real fans. On Sky Sports Football, you listen with fake fans. I still think Steve McManaman and Michael Owen should be making the fan noises and doing all the chants.
Oh my god! But
who was that meant to be?
I don't know. Steve McManaman.
Has he gone American all of a sudden?
Can't do that.
Oh, Villa on the ball. Yeehaw!
Oh dear, I'm going to give up with the impressions now. That's enough.
You're an actor. At least I've got an excuse.
Yeah, I know. I should be doing better than this, should I? All casting jobs gone out the window now. But yeah, how are you feeling for the game?
Do you know the thing I realised in the last two games? I mean, I don't know what happened on the FA Cup game. We've never played an FA Cup game so well. And two, I've never felt so comfortable in a win. Like, I've never enjoyed a game. Like, I've never gone to the second half going, well, that's a win. We've won that. And it was unbelievable. Fulham didn't even have I know they didn't want to be there. We didn't really want to be there. But I think this is going to sound really silly, but I think having the new chairman, like he wasn't able to go to the games before because he was self-isolating. And now he's been to 2 games. And we've just played with freedom. Like the first half, and seeing us against Liverpool, I thought, Christ, we came out in the second half, played really well, and that's like a Dyche thing. Like if you don't play well in the first half, you're going to get a Dyche reaction. You might not win, you might not get a point, but you'll see a better second half. And we haven't done that all season. We've gone 1-0 down, and I've just been trained to go, well, we've lost. I'm going to go make a cup of tea now. But we came out second half, Liverpool, brilliant. First half against Villa, we were hopeless. We were awful. Second half, 3 goals. I've never known anything like it.
That is mad.
It was absolutely beautiful. Everyone was messaging me and saying, what's going on with Burnley? I was like, I don't know. I've never seen us score this many goals. But it must be down to the one. Well, obviously Dyche. I think it helps having. We don't even have a full squad fit. Actually, I was going to say it must help having, but Taylor's out, and oh my word, as the unofficial, most socially distanced Eric Peters podcast. Oh my word, I've never seen him play so well. He got into the box, Dave, twice. He almost scored. I was like, I've never seen him go past the halfway line before.
Even when he was playing left wing.
Yeah, you joke, but he was 2 games in a row. I thought, bloody hell, he looks good.
That's the thing, though, because you got Barnsley and Peters, and they're 2 old fogies. But when actually
Lowton
they come
playing
in...
at right back, Lowton. Do you know what I would have said a year? I'm pretty sure I said to you a year ago, let's scrap him, get someone new in.
You did. You said
he's
when we
being
did the Celtic.
Brilliant. He's playing like the Lowton of old. Keep him.
Really
We don't need
player.
a right back now, even though we're probably getting John Joe Kennedy, but more competition for him. Good. That's what I want to see. But it must have been something to do with the chairman being there, because he seems so involved. Like, he seems like he was celebrating every single goal. And I don't know, maybe it's just like, there's always a Dyche turning point, isn't there? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But again, I think we're going to lose quite heavily, because I think sometimes we get in our own heads going to Stamford Bridge and the Etihad. But I'm feeling more confident than I was a couple of weeks ago, saying we had Liverpool, Villa, Chelsea, City. If you told me we get 1 point out of that, I'd been happy. And we got 6 points so far. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and we're in the next round of the cup. So
I know, yeah, and you got Bournemouth. So
I can't wait for Tuchel to meet Dyche. Fucking hell, he's really a baptism of fire, isn't it? First Nuno and now Dyche.
That is a mad. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit.
You must be so confused. Like, you don't know what you're going to see, what team you're going to see.
No, that's the thing, because he came out last night and he said before, he was like, this is the most unfair team selection I've ever made, because he hasn't really had time to really look at anyone properly. It's just, that's why I'm not really too angry about Mason Mount missing out because he sort of just went with the players. I think he went with the players that he knew, and everyone.
Yeah, now you've said it, it does make a lot more sense. I didn't even think about that.
But when he said, and then I've had a few people going, yeah, he played Hudson-Odoi, but he must have heard a lot about Hudson-Odoi because a couple of years ago,
especially being in Germany, yeah.
Well, he was strongly linked with Bayern Munich, wasn't he? So
yeah,
he would have known a lot about.
Must have been on his radar at Dortmund.
Exactly. So that's probably why. Actually, he played 5 at the back. He put Hudson-Odoi as a wing back, and actually Hudson-Odoi played quite well as a wing back. Well, it looked like he was going to play 4-4-2, but he played Aspie in the right-sided centre half and put Hudson-Odoi like a false. It was almost like a false right wing back because Wolves didn't really do a lot. So Hudson-Odoi had sort of that free reign to get forward as much as he possibly could.
I've got a question about Wolves for you. I think I like Nuno because he's so passionate, but I've always had my questions. Do you think he's been found out a bit now? Because they're having a sticky patch, but I've said since the beginning of the season they just don't look like they've been firing like they had before. And I know they haven't had Jimenez, but blimey, they've spent enough to. Like, they spent lots on that Crotone. He went out on loan last season, and he just doesn't look particularly good, does he?
No, he looks overrated. But
no, actually, no, my striker. No.
Do you know what? I would say yes, but I'm saying no because of the way this season is. Because there hasn't been a team in the league this year that has been consistently good. Like, every single club has had a sticky patch this season at some point.
The thing I find really hard, though, is like, this is the season to score millions of goals, and we always put Wolves with scoring millions of goals since they've come back up. Mm-hmm. But they just don't look like scoring one. They don't. They
didn't really try last night.
I expected that performance from, I don't know, like a team like us on our first season up. I saw Match of the Day, and obviously that doesn't tell you half the picture or half the story. But I can't even remember a Wolves chance on Match of the Day.
What, last night? No, they had one sort of chance with Neto when he was through on goal, and that was.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, that is true.
That was it. Then they didn't really pose. But I think, to be honest, that Nuno I think that was quite clever from Nuno because I think he went, this is Tuchel's football. He's going to pass it around a bit. They're a bit of an unknown quantity because of the fact that they're in that weird transition.
But on the other hand,
I get a point, and that's a good point for Wolves when you think the form they've been in.
But on the other hand, all that money spent, and there's a lot of disappointment. One of my favourite things is to go and look at a team's Twitter after a game. There was a lot of disappointment from the Wolves fans. Said we should be and I think there's an understanding, like, they've spent a lot of money, so, and they've spent a lot of smart money. Like, this is not me just like saying, oh, they've spent so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they've done bloody fantastically with their recruitment, and maybe it's just not been as good this year, obviously because of the COVID. Leagues weren't playing like the Premier League was during the lockdown, so it's hard to scout players.
Do you know what I think they've done? And I don't know if you agree with me on this. I think because it's worked so well from them before, I think they're trying so hard to scout players.
It's a bit like Leicester when they won the league. Oh, Leicester had done so well, and they had some real shitter transfers when they after they'd won the league, like some real crap. And now they've taken. Maybe Wolves need to do the same thing. Take a step back, and just go back to the basics of their recruitment.
Known in the league, like known quantities now. Not like with this Fabio Silva. He's 18. They've spent 30 million on him.
35 million.
Because they think he's going to be potentially the next best thing. But
I don't see it now. But he might. I mean, he's got all the chance in the world, especially being at Wolves.
They need someone. They need a few players to go in there who are going to be not, wow, look how good they actually are. They need players that are literally going to come in and you know that they're going to come in and immediately improve your team. Like you said, you look at Everton, you know, James Rodriguez, you know when he's coming in.
Oh, did you see his goal last night? Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant goal. But you know he's instantly improving your team. Allen, not necessarily, not an unknown quantity, but you know when he comes in, he's going to improve your team. That's what Everton have done this season, and yeah, they've slipped off a little bit, but every team has at one point, and it's working for them. I mean, if the league finishes tomorrow and Everton finish 5th, that's a brilliant season for Everton. So are they underachieving because they've had a shit spell? No one, like, it's just a weird league season. So That's my opinion on it. But they need to stop trying to find the next hidden gem and actually just go and buy some known talent that is going to come in, and it's not going to be.
It's like it's criminal seeing like that bright Asay Samuel going to Fenerbahce. What? I don't know. I can't get my head around that. Yeah, you get to play with Ozil. Well, great, cool, but what's it gonna? How's that gonna benefit your career? You're gonna play what? You might play in the Champions League, but you might get demolished every week. Oh, you might play in the Europa League, but you'll go out in the second knockout round. Oh well, at least I can lift this trophy that the club's lifted 450 times. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see. Yeah. If he was like 28, 29, and he really was desperate to play in Europe to tell his kids, oh look, I played in the Champions League, I played against Messi, blah blah blah. I'd kind of get that, but he's so young, and I just can't see him. The only positive I get is that Fenerbahce are going to attack in a game so much more than I don't know. I saw him being linked to us and Sheffield United, but I'll say Sheffield United in a game against Man United. Do you know what I mean? So he might develop that, but again, he's not going to be coming up against tough opponents. Like he's just going to be able to run around these players. Because no offense, I don't imagine the Turkish league is this really tough defensive league. Oh, I could be wrong. Someone tell me I'm wrong, because it might be this amazing like hidden gem of a league, but I can't imagine it.
It's hardcore.
And there's nothing against Fenerbahce, and I know now more than ever, like there are teams battling. Like you got Istanbul and Besiktas, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, but what happens after those teams? I mean, Danny Drinkwater's gone over there. It can't be that good.
Well, one thing Wolves need to do, especially, is that Adama Traore has been found out. Last season he sort of flirted with me a little bit. Yeah, but
Dave, he had 5 good minutes against Man City. So that sets you for life.
Yeah, but then that's what everyone, including me, went, oh, actually, he's not too bad after last season. But this season, he's just proving again that he's just quick and he's got nothing else about him.
You know the weird thing? I remember when they do those like weird Premier League tournaments, pre-season ones. I was watching one because City were playing in it. And also a family members of Sport City, and I was watching. I think it was either Wolves and West Ham or Wolves and Newcastle in the middle. It was Wolves and Newcastle because I remember there was a sign that said "Away the lads," but like as in the Chinese word, and I thought that is brilliant. That is class. But anyway, I remember Traore came on. This was not last. Obviously, it wouldn't have been last bloody. Wouldn't do it. Go to China at the moment. But like the pre-season before that, so before lockdowns, before pandemics, whatever. And I thought, Christ, Traore looks like a different player. And like this was just a friendly, obviously. He was passing it. He was like playing with his head up. And I feel like since the beginning of the new season, he's put his head down again. Like he looks like he was playing like he was beforehand with his head down. And look at like Saint Maximin. I know he's been out with like long COVID and not long, but with long symptoms. But this season he's playing with his head up, and he looks like a different player. I could see Saint Maximin going to not a bigger club, but I mean, if Newcastle don't pick it up, I could see him wanting to leave because he's a bit like the Traore thing. Started playing with his bloody head up.
Yeah, I agree.
And I mean, people give Bruce as much grief as they want. But that's what like a down to basics footballer will give you. Like he will, a bit like Dyche with players like McNeil, and now we're seeing Mbongo and Glennon and Benson. He would tell them to play with their head up and just don't be scared of doing things. And I think maybe Traore just needs reminding of that.
Yeah,
and stop worrying about the bloody baby oil. For goodness' sake, he's more worried about his baby oil than actually playing.
Very, I think turning into quite an overrated footballer, which leads us overrated part 2.
Hold on, I've got the coin. You
can't see me. Do you want me to do my wingers and then we'll flip the coin for midfielders?
Oh yeah, good point actually. Do that.
Okay, well I'll change it up so I can get my wingers in, and I'll go 4-5-1, and then I'll do my centre midfielders when you do yours. Who did you go for your wingers again? I know one was Neymar, and then the other one was...
God, do you not remember? You didn't agree with me at all.
Oh, yes, Ginola. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I just... I'll go through like the rules. Not the rules, but like our criteria. Just so you got to understand, these are not players we necessarily think are bad, besides Lloris. These are like players who are probably seen bigger up, like have higher reputations through mainly the media and fan bases rather than overall like neutral fans. And so it's not like anything, like we're not going to put players like Lingard in there who obviously do have talent but aren't showing it at Man United. I think Lingard's one of the go-to people when people say overrated. I don't know if you agree with that, but that's not like kind of the criteria we're going on. It's more who we think personally got too much attention, too much buzz, won too many trophies. Gail Clichy. Do you know what I mean? It's not like because you just choose the same players every time.
Well, I'll go for the person on the right-hand side, and for me, still playing, and for me, is probably the most overrated player in the Premier League at the moment. Honestly, I think when he came in for quite a lot of money, a lot of potential, and in the first season, I was like, actually, I think this kid could be quite something. Actually, I think this kid could really, really do something for his club. And then, ever since then, I've not really seen him do anything. They've tried him on the right, they've tried him up front, they've tried him on the left, they've tried him.
I have no idea where this was going, but I think I do now.
They've tried him like down the middle, but I just don't see. I don't see anything because and he'll go on like he'll score like a brilliant goal, and then everyone goes about how good he is, or he'll get 3 goals in 2 games, and everyone's all like, "Oh, he's the best thing," and then he'll go 6 games without scoring a goal. I've gone for Anthony Martial.
Oh, okay. Shall I tell you who I thought you was going to say?
Who?
I was going to say Richarlison.
No. I kind of really rate Richarlison still, but Martial.
I do agree with you though.
He's never ever flattered to deceive me. He's never ever as I said, the first season he came in. I was like, yeah, young, bit naive. But I think with a bit of nurturing, I think he could.
Isn't there a certain famous clip of commentary with Martial that happens at the beginning of a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took you a moment. I was like, is this making sense? Have I got the wrong clip?
Oh, yeah, that's true. But no. I just think a player, and the thing is, like you just said, your criteria. I don't think he's a bad player. He just doesn't show it. I don't know whether it's his attitude or.
Oh, it's got to be his attitude.
He's not playing.
We spoke about this a couple of months ago. He will go and score a hat-trick against Burnley or Newcastle. Well, how can you not consider him for the Ballon d'Or? Well, I'll give you a bloody million reasons, Martin Tyler. Why not?
But that's the thing. He's never been consistent for me. And like last season, he was up there for the Young Player of the Year, and I was like, "What? A, he's not young, and B, how he didn't actually."
He's rarely even a player.
Yeah, literally, and he still gets like so much hype about him. Like when you hear the commentators speak about him, it's like he's only just gone on the barren run, and it's not really firing lately, but he used to. Like,
how long's he been at United now? 5 years?
Aubameyang is in a barren run. Aubameyang is a quality world-class striker, but just isn't going for him at the moment. And they're quick to jump on Aubameyang, but Martial, they never seem to. So, yeah, I just think very, very overrated footballer, and I've gone for Martial on the right-hand side.
It is that Man United effect, though. I don't know why, but they just can't. You have a player there and he just can't seem to do no wrong. There's always a reason why they're not doing something. And it's not because their attitude stinks or anything. It's like Pogba, I don't think did anything last night, but they would refuse to point it out at all. But as soon as a Sheffield United player kicked it out, play, well, why is he doing that? Why is he? Oh, get rid of him. Take away his contract forever. Put him in the canteen. It drives me nuts. Like United players, the attitude at United has been terrible for so long now. It obviously wasn't like that under Fergie, and if it was, bye, you're gone.
Yeah.
And now obviously United, like one of the biggest clubs of our lifetime. Like I know they weren't in the lifetime before us. I know they were up there, but not in like the Liverpool stands. But there's just so much want in the media. It was like for Leeds going up, there was so much want in the media for Leeds to be in the Premier League. Now they want Man United to win the league. They've had Liverpool won it, so that's great. We can tick that one off. Now it's on to Man United.
I think as well, if Martial was to leave Man United and go to
PSG.
An Everton or a West Ham, I generally think he would be like in Iheanacho. He'd just
Yeah, so I say the same with Gabriel Jesus as well.
I think he'd be completely swamped under and wouldn't actually look as good as he even does now, which I don't think he is. But
No, and I mean, the thing is, Rashford has on and off days, but I do think Rashford will make 2 or 3 chances a game completely. Whereas I think Martial needs it sat on a plate for him, doesn't he?
Literally. And I don't doubt Martial's ability because I've seen him score some really good goals, but it's just not consistent enough to be hyped up as the player that everyone seems to think he is. So, yeah, I've gone for him on the right. And on the left, and do you know what? I've picked this. I was thinking I had someone else in there, but I changed it and put this guy in because he suddenly came to my mind. And I think there was so much hype around this guy because in the era that he was playing, there wasn't many left-footed players around. And I think because he was left-footed, everyone seemed to put him in every conversation because he had a left foot. Whereas, like for England, that whenever the England squads were being picked, everyone would be like, well, he's got to go in because we need someone who can put the ball into the box. But I remember watching him play, and it'd be the same thing. The centre midfielder would give him the ball, he'd take the ball, he'd kick it from wherever he was, and it would just hit a defender and be headed out for a throw-in or be headed out away. And then when he got a big move to a big club, and I think that's where it showed that he was completely overrated because he was shite. He was so bad at Liverpool. I've gone for none other than Stuart Downing.
Oh, thank God. I'm glad someone picked him.
And I think it was because he was the only left-footed, one of very few left-footed players that were around in the time that he was playing. So everyone was like every England squad, Stuart Downing would always be there. And I was like, why? Why is
he only ever had one good season, and that was at West Ham.
Yeah, I remember. Actually, that was one season I do actually remember him actually playing very well. But he went to Villa, didn't really do a lot there.
I know it was in like a time of Liverpool signing random players like Ricky Lambert and all that. How on earth did he get a move to Liverpool? But it's crazy, like how this guy raggled any move in his life. And look at him now; he's playing for bloody Blackburn.
I know, that's the shame, isn't it? But
I know from Liverpool to Blackburn, you couldn't make it out. Couldn't be picked 2 worst players. I'm joking. I don't mind Liverpool that much, but Blackburn.
It is scary how a player like him got. You know, I know they're from completely different eras, but it's very embarrassing when you look back and think Stuart Downing got about 30 caps for England. Matt Letizia got about 3.
If Stuart Downing get the England team, I'm very much looking forward to my strike partnership with Harry Kane at the Euros. Actually, me and Ingsy talk about Burnley all day. Ingsy, perfect.
But yeah, my left midfielder, there's not really much more you can say about him. I think he's just very overrated. I've gone for Stuart Downing.
He was the thing was though, the thing that made it worse, like he was just a meme before memes were a thing. Like he was a meme to every England fan. Like when he signed for Liverpool, Stuart bloody Downing. No one could ever say Stuart Downing without putting bloody before or in the middle. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that there wasn't a law. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I know it's Harry bloody Winks. No one can tell me otherwise.
Oh dear. But yeah, so on the right, Martial. On the left, Stuart Downing.
So I did have a coin, but I've just put it down and I don't know. Oh, there it is. It's okay. £2 coin. We're absolutely balling in these hard times.
I feel sorry for the strikers in my team with Martial and Downing crossing the ball. Never get to him.
Oh, do you think anyone out there bought a Stuart Downing shirt? A Middlesbrough fan must have.
Middlesbrough love Stuart Downing, don't they?
Well, it's a team that love bloody Steve McLaren as well. So, and Southgate. Is that just the rule now? To be involved with England, you have to have some loving with Middlesbrough. I expect to see Jonathan Woodgate as manager soon of England.
He will be.
Right. Dear. David, heads or tails?
Heads.
Oh, actually, I got really confused because there's the Queen's head, and then it's like one of these special £2, and I got someone else's head on the other side. But it is tails, but it's like head version 2.
Go on then, your 2 centre midfielders.
So, one of them should need no explaining. The other one should need no explaining. The first one I've gone for. This guy won everything besides an international trophy. And I think I would have generally thought, if he'd won an international trophy, I would have then thought my life as a League Two footballer is on. Like, I'm on to earn £4,000 a week at this point. Knee operations and all. I feel like I was I just don't get. And now we see him on our bloody TVs every day on BT, and I'm like, no, you don't deserve to be here. I mean, he does. I mean, the thing is, like, he could play football, but I don't know how he played football for all these teams. I don't get. Just every year someone would be linked with him, and I'm like, no, don't. This is the worst decision you ever make. And I think the only reason he went to Man City was to annoy Man United fans. I think the only reason City even could, because he only played like 2 games for them, I think. And not many people were going from Man United to Man City ever. And like the people who have, like Tevez, they're just wanted for their lives by the red side. But anyway, I've gone for Owen bloody Hargreaves. See, you just name a dodgy player and you just have to put bloody in their name. I don't know what his traits are. Give the ball away, maybe. Probably better at cricket, I don't know. I have no positives to say besides he probably earned a lot of money.
I forgot he'd gone to Manchester City.
I forgot he even played football when he was on the pitch. He was useless. He made so many England caps. God knows how he made so many caps for Bayern Munich. God knows how he made so many caps for United. God knows how he's still on bloody BT. Oh, do you know, I don't think he's that bad on BT. There's a lot worse, McManaman.
Michael Owen.
Yeah, you could just go up Robbie Savage. Ugh. At least he's not on there. At least he doesn't have a stupid nickname on BT like the rest of them do. Sav, Fletch, Macca. Ugh, drives me nuts. We have old Ozza, Owen Hargreaves. I make it sound like I just really hate these people, but I have nothing against them. I don't think anyone thought he was a great player. Obviously, I think he was injured a lot, wasn't he? But when he came to United, and I think that's the whole reason he came, was he was injured so much and hardly playing for Bayern Munich. Weird. It was just a weird signing, and I don't think anyone thought he was what United needed. But you know, he's won more trophies than most people.
Mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad.
And then going from one person who had no skill to someone who has all the skill in the world, and it makes me really sad. But we talk about lazy and attitudes. Been in the news a lot recently. Thankfully, I'm so glad this guy's out of the Premier League because his attitude stank, and I think he was the start of the lazy footballer, like the footballer who. And now I don't like this. You can sulk at home. And you can get your move away. You can get your dream move. It's so disrespectful to every football club. And I feel like it encouraged people. And you're going to name things that hit close to home, like Ben Gibson to go and train with his old club. Like, your contract, you're getting a lot of money, even if it is to sit on the bench. Have some bloody respect. And Ozil, I've ruined it already. But my one is Ozil. He was getting $350,000 to hold an umbrella over his head at Southampton away.
Mm-hmm.
I get an umbrella over my head, and I have to pay for the bloody umbrella, and it breaks because I'm really bad at opening umbrellas. So I'm losing money where he's getting like £350,000 for it.
I know what you mean. I think I agree. I actually, do you know what? That's someone who I can't believe I didn't even think to put in. But that is actually.
Do you know what? Every time, I don't know how much you did just off of your mind, or like you actually. I had to Google because I was like struggling for some positions, especially with the underrated. But the one player, there was 2 players who come up, and I won't say the other one just yet, but Ozil was always on the photo for the articles for the most overrated footballer. Mm-hmm. But the thing that annoys me is he's so talented. Yeah, he's ridiculously talented. Like, had the skills to be one of the best players in the world. I don't think anyone could doubt that. And then it annoyed me at Arsenal. He would be rubbish for 6 months. He would just stand there at the top of the pitch while they let in a goal and just throw his hands in the air and go, "Oh well, what's Mesut gonna do?" And then he'll make one pass, and everyone will go, "Ozil's back." It's a bit like the Martial effect. He'll do one good thing, well, Mesut's back. He's the best player we've ever got. And multiple mates who support Arsenal, they wanted Ozil to come back in when January came around because he wasn't in the squad, was he? He wasn't in the registered.
No.
But I'm like, surely you'd rather play like someone like Emil Smith-Rowe, who hadn't quite broken into Arteta's team yet, who's going to put in 100%.
I don't care.
And look at him. Emil Smith-Rowe looks another player. Looks great. Doesn't look like the guy I was watching at Huddersfield last season. And Ozil would just... The thing is, Ozil coming back in the team, he would not be bothered. And it's just because he's getting his manager to post, his agent, to post all these things on social media that makes him look like he cares. He does not give a slight shit about Arsenal, does he?
No, absolutely
he cares
not.
And I think it's great he's so vocal in what he believes in. And I hope it works at Fenerbahce, because it can't have been much fun being isolated from the rest of the team and whatever. Especially not in your home country. But he probably put it on himself. I just think... And I just think I don't think he would even make Burnley's team, because I don't think teams below the top 6 would even contemplate signing him if they said he wants to join you. You don't have to pay his wages, because he would just ruin your atmosphere and your dressing room.
I don't think anyone would have signed him. I really don't, and I know a lot of that was because not many.
There's a reason he's going to Fenerbahce, isn't it?
But if Fenerbahce come in and Arsenal said they'd terminate his contract and release him on free, then loads of clubs should be going in for him. But why? Because his attitude is all wrong, and that makes you a very overrated player. That's a brilliant shout, Ozil.
Thank you. I was really proud of that one. Not as proud as Owen Hargreaves, but I was still proud.
I'm very, very proud of you for that. Right, shall I go mine?
Yeah, please do.
I've got 3, so
big time.
It's going to be an interesting one here. I'll go for this guy first because he had links to Chelsea. I think for fairness, I had to put a Chelsea player in there. And this guy, I literally cannot believe how he played for Chelsea for so many years. And I can't believe how long he played for Chelsea with the amount of people saying how good he was, because I'm not even joking. I used to watch him all the time.
I can't believe you're putting Frank Lampard in your team.
Oh, too soon. But, honestly, this guy, I like the amount of people that used to go, oh, he's a replacement for Makelele. Oh, he's the replacement for Essien. Like,
yes, I know exactly where this is going.
What is everyone talking about? And I used to sit there and go, is it just me watching this team? Or is everyone else? Is it just me who's getting this wrong about this player? John Obi Mikel. Right.
English football legend, playing in the Championship now. He's going to get promoted.
Middlesbrough.
No, Stoke. He's at Stoke now, mate. He's moved on a bit.
Now? Oh, yeah, he's at Stoke.
He's captain.
Dear. Oh, dear. That just says it all, doesn't it, really?
Oh, poor Sam Vokes.
Let him play. But there's only one game I remember Mikel playing ridiculously well, and that was the Barcelona second leg, where we were the 2-2. And the first leg, actually. Those 2 legs, him and Morelos were brilliant in that team. And that's the only 2 games that I remember saying, actually, Mikel was brilliant. But apart from that, he didn't score. It was a joke if he scored. He went 360 games without scoring. That's for a defensive midfielder as well. That's awful. Didn't pass forward, passed sideways for the whole of his career at Chelsea. Gave the ball a lot. Got sent off way too much for me. The amount of games that he missed for stupid tackles or picking up stupid yellow cards. I'm not really going much into it, but for watching Chelsea, very, very poor.
No, I agree. I never rated him, but everyone rated him.
I know, this is what
well,
I mean.
It's like a media thing, isn't it? I don't think many fans actually would have hand on heart said he was that good of a player. But when bloody Sky Sports and everyone else gets involved, well, they're brilliant. Oh, I love him. Fantastic player.
But no, not for me. Not for me. And I think, I just don't get it. Never have, never will. I'm going to go for my big one last. So the next person I put in there, and we joke about it a lot, and I had to put this guy in because honestly, I do not see the hype around him at the moment. Harry Winks.
Yeah.
Oh my dear God.
If I'm not being funny, if you showed me a picture of Tom Carroll and you said that was Harry Winks, I would have believed you.
Literally. He is going to be the next Tom Carroll. I will hand on heart say this, in 3 years' time, he'll be in the Championship. Because
he'll go to a team that's relegation threatened in the Premier League. Everyone will go, wow, this is big for his career. And then you'll be like, is it Harry Winks still playing? Are you sure? I thought he retired.
He is awful, honestly. And there's people out there saying that he should be playing for England. And I'm like, literally, what does he do apart from pass the ball sideways? And I'll never forget that 3-3 at Tottenham at the start of the season. I said, for people that know, my best mate, one of my best mates, he's a Tottenham fan.
And a Harry Winks lover.
And he loves Harry Winks. And I said to him, when they drew 3-3, it was when he came on that they went downhill. I said, because they stopped looking more intent and they started passing sideways. And because he tackled Messi ridiculously well at one point, because he passed...
Do you know who else has tackled Messi? Johan Berg Gudmundsson. The good old days.
Literally, but I never got it. I never have, and I never will. I don't see him doing anything major, and I generally think it's Tom Carroll 2.0.
Do you know who I think? Do you know who I think's going to be Tom Carroll 3.0? That Oliver Skip. I don't see him with him either.
Oh my dear God! But no, don't get it. We'll never get it. I think up there with Martial for one of the most overrated players in the Premier League.
If they want to bring through, do you know that youngster I know it was Marine, but that 16-year-old they brought on against Marine, he looked like he's got so much quality. Focus on him. I think he's from near me as well.
Not Harry Winks. No, thank you.
Thank God Harry Winks is not from near me. You'll never hear the end of it.
But yeah, if he gets picked for England in the summer, there's something seriously wrong with football. And my last one, okay, this is very controversial. And
you haven't put Jeff Hendrick in, have you?
No.
Oh, the fact he gets a contract is criminal.
It's very controversial, this one. People sit there and say that this guy is the best midfielder, one of the best midfielders, not just in the world, but of all time. And I honestly would put my thing on this and say he's the most overrated player in my team. Because I've seen him, watched him play for years and years and years now. And I think he was protected a lot by the quality that was around him. And I think he was made to look good because he was playing in a perfect team. He didn't really have to do a lot in most games. And if he made a mistake, it was against the big boys. But people wouldn't highlight that. And also, another reason why I actually hate this player is because I think he is the biggest diver in football, the biggest play actor in football. My overrated centre midfielder and probably the most overrated player in my team, Sergi Busquets.
No, I couldn't work out if it was going to be Sergi Busquets or Javier Mascherano.
No, I rate Mascherano. Busquets. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I know.
I just don't get it. He passes the ball sideways. He was protected in his prime by Xavi and Iniesta. And you're seeing now he's actually not that good because Barcelona have been really poor lately. So now that protection's gone, the last few years I think everyone's saying, oh, he's dropped off a bit. Well, he's dropped off a bit because they haven't got the genius of two of the greatest players that's ever played football next to him. I never saw what everyone used to say was so good about him. I actually do not understand how this guy is made to be the best defensive midfielder of all time. People keep saying that. And his diving, oh my days. You only got to literally breathe on him and he'll roll around holding his face. Oh, it's horrible. I mean, it's horrible to watch. I think he is the worst in the world for that. And yeah, for me, I think he was. When I did my team, he was the first person I put in there because I was like,
yeah, that's a really good shout. I can't actually agree more. I don't think. The thing is that I don't think anyone particularly thinks he's that amazing. Besides the media, because he plays for Barcelona and he's won all those trophies. It's bizarre.
It's because he's won all those trophies, and as I said, he was playing in the team that was the best I've ever seen play football. That he got all the because they didn't need to. They didn't need to. He didn't really need to do a lot of defensive midfielders because they just had the ball and they were passing it around. And yes, that's not his fault, but in a way, it is his fault because he's getting hyped up for being something that he isn't. And yeah, and for Spain, when he's playing for Spain, because he was playing in a prime Spanish team, and then the last few years, everyone's been like, "Oh, Busquets has dropped off a little bit because he's actually not very good." Maybe that's the reason he's actually not that good a footballer. It's the same with Marcelo. Like it's the same with Marcelo and Dani Alves. Like they're not actually that good. They were just playing in prime teams, and then the prime goes.
Well, I think the difference is I think Marcelo and Dani Alves did have the ability, and they showed signs of it. But I get your point, Mascherano. Sorry, not Mascherano. Sergio Busquets. See, I've got Mascherano. I thought you were going to say Mascherano, so I got it stuck in my head now. Yeah.
But what's he do? What does he do? What does he do? Apart from roll on the floor holding his face when he's got someone brushed alongside him. What does he actually do?
And the thing that annoys me most about that, he goes like 2-footed into challenges as well and tells people to get up. It was like that Pedro. Have you ever seen that clip of Pedro playing for Barcelona and he's like holding his leg and two players just come up and pick him up and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
Do you know what? And this is the thing. You know how much commentators, if players get a little touch, you know how much commentators go, "Oh, he's caught his face there," and like they're quite protective of the player when they do that.
Well, he's got the right to go down.
I remember a few years ago, a few commentators saying, that's just ridiculous. He's ruining the game. He's absolutely ruining the game. It's an absolute disgrace what he's doing because he was doing it all the time. Like a little touch. Oh, my face. Oh, I banged my knee on the floor.
The thing is, if the problem is like teams like Barcelona, I don't think it's a conscious decision, but subconsciously they get more from the referees anyway. And then these youngsters, and we're seeing it so much now. Like Ashley Young, two of the starters for this, and anyone in that Barcelona team really. They see the top players diving, so everyone else go, well, if they do it, we've got to do it to get better. And now we're seeing a backlash of that through people like him, through people like Ashley Young. Ashley Young was one of the first to do it in the Premier League, like properly on a daily basis. Like there's going to be times where you get a touch and you generally feel like you need to go down and get a free kick, but not every bloody time. And like we've spoken, I don't know how many times we've spoken about like the state of diving just between us. But it starts somewhere, and I think you're so right. He is one of the benefactors to the normality of diving in modern football.
He was the first person on my team sheet when I did this, so Busquets in there. Awful.
Right. Shall we flip the coin of magic again? I've lost it
and again. Just the last thing I'll say
go on.
Is that when I'm doing some of this, I think some of these players I put in there, and like some of the players you put in there, have ability, and you think they're overrated because they're getting hyped up on what they're better than they actually are. I actually don't.
Or better than they've proved, we should say. I think.
I don't think Busquets is even that good a player, but that's me down on him.
Do you think he'll go anywhere, or do you think he'll just retire?
He'll retire at Barcelona or he'll go to some Saudi Arabian team or something.
He'll probably go and play in Qatar under Iniesta.
Xavi.
Oh, Xavi. Sorry, yeah, Xavi.
Yeah.
Is Iniesta in Japan still?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Well, welcome to Japan, Sergio Busquets. Right, shall we switch to the magic coin with two heads on it? But I don't know who the second. Oh, it's that guy. I can't remember his name. I'm not actually going to embarrass myself and try and remember.
Tails.
Right. Bloody heads. You're rubbish today. You get it all right last week.
Oh dear, your turn.
Right. So I've tried to. It's worked quite well. I tried to go for some players who weren't playing for most of my team anymore. Actually, that's such a lie because Clichy is still playing. Dani Alves. Oh, I've just bugged it up really. But up front, I've got two players who are very much still around and about. And I just, one of them, I know he's meant to be having a good season and he's the saviour and he's saving the manager's job, but he's been there long enough. He should be paying back what he's been earning. And if I need a goal, the last person I want to see coming on is this bloke. Like, and he spent a lot of his career as the backup, mainly because there were so many better players in front of him. Yet here we are in 2021, and he's a bloody first team striker now. And the first one I've gone for is Benzema, and that was the other person who was on the top of all the article photos of the most overrated players with Ozil. And I couldn't agree more. I really didn't want to put him in because everyone thinks he's overrated. Besides Real Madrid fans, obviously. And I don't think there's a Real Madrid fan who really knows that much about football. Or like we know, because we don't live in Spain, obviously. Well, not that you know. We haven't seen each other for a while. Maybe I moved to Spain mid-pandemic. I didn't. But I just... it summed it up. I can't remember if it was the game against Ajax or... Do you remember when they got stuffed by Bayern Munich years ago? Or was it Dortmund? Don't know. But when they get stuffed, he is bad. The thing is, Real Madrid rarely get stuffed, so it doesn't show that much. And the whole time Ronaldo was there, he's going to make 1 million assists for this bloke. He's going to have 400 shots on target a game. But someone playing for Real Madrid, I reckon they should be putting in 399 of these shots. He puts in 4.
Yeah,
and then we go, Benzema the king. I don't know any Spanish songs about Benzema. Benzema the guy.
How he still plays.
No, I don't get it. And they moaned about Luka Jovic not scoring. How's he meant to score when he's coming on for Benzema in the 85th minute? And look at Jovic now. He's gone back to Frankfurt and he scored like 4 in 3 games, 5 in 3 games. So I don't know, and I don't think Zidane helps. I don't think Zidane is this great manager. I would win the bloody Champions League with Ronaldo in my team. Yeah. And I'm not even going to get onto how Real Madrid won those Champions League when they should have been knocked out every bloody time. But that's either here or there. Like, we're not talking about the teams. The thing is, when you play for Real Madrid, your whole famous career, if that makes sense, like everyone knows him for playing for Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
Look at Choupo-Moting. He gets in the bloody Bayern Munich and PSG teams. He's rubbish. But there's just like, I'm not going to look back in 10 years and go, oh, that Choupo-Moting, Jesus Christ. Like, I'll just forget about him. But I go, oh, it's the guy who played for PSG and Bayern Munich. And that's all I think with Benzema. He's the guy who played for Real Madrid. Not, oh, he was one of Real Madrid's greatest strikers ever. And I think someone who's played, he must be near 400 games for them easily, if not more. Yeah. I'd expect, if I'd seen someone make 400 appearances for Real Madrid, I would be sitting there going, Christ, he must have been good.
Yeah, and he's not.
No, not at all. And it's so hard because I always think, well, they're better than me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do a better job, but I'm not paid 250 grand a week.
Yeah, it's always a weird one with Real Madrid because they for years they signed Ronaldo, then they signed Bale to replace Ronaldo when Ronaldo was still there, and then they signed Hazard to replace Bale when Bale was still there. But they've never actually replaced what I think Real Madrid have been screaming out for years and years and years. I think since Van Nistelrooy was there, and that's a striker. Because Benzema, I mean, he just hasn't done what I think emulates what Real Madrid...
It's like they've got their Benzema goggles on every time he plays. Oh, Benzema's coming on. Apply the goggles. I just don't... I don't get it. I don't get what the buzz is. Because I'm not being funny. Think of a really average Premier League striker. I can't think of any off the top. You put Callum Wilson up front for Real Madrid, right? I think Callum Wilson's a half-decent player, but he will score 15 goals a season, right? Because they're making, 700 chances a game. But I don't think you can judge Benzema because he hasn't got the most prolific Real Madrid scoring record unless he goes somewhere like, I don't know, Everton. I don't know why Everton keeps coming to mind for players, but do you know what I mean? And he goes and scores 20 goals a season for them. Yeah. But it's just that thing. He doesn't do anything for a game. We still love him. But we go back to Marcelo. Do you remember on his 300th game, he was exceptionally bad, to be fair. And he came off and he got booed out the stadium. And this was a guy who's been there as nearly as long as Benzema. And I just find that bizarre that you wouldn't boo Benzema because, I mean, he can't fuck up a goal right from where he is, but he cannot score, which he goes through very long spells of not doing. Anyway, I've digressed so badly on this. It's bloody Benzema, like it or not. Should I do the other one, or do you want to go first?
Yeah, you go for the other one.
And the other one might as well just wear a Benzema mask every morning. I have the same problem. We just put excuse after excuse of why he's not scoring. And last season he went how long without scoring at his home stadium? Oh well, he's just a defensive striker. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's like saying I'm a right-handed, left-handed writer. What does this mean? What does a defensive striker even mean? It's like, oh, this defender's let in 50 goals. Oh, he's an attacking defender. I don't think it worked. Right, to be fair, you can have an attacking defender, but you know what I mean. And by now, if you haven't got it, you're either listening to this in 20 years' time, I'm like, ooh, or you don't watch football. And it's bloody Bobby Firmino. What on earth?
Yeah, a shout.
I mean, he couldn't even score in an open net against Burnley. Granted,
do you know what? Firmino gets so much praise from Liverpool
Dave,
fans.
he's a defensive striker.
Because
what more could you want?
So many, literally, where I work, pretty much all my mates are Liverpool fans where I work, and
you'd be surprised to know he doesn't live in Liverpool.
No, but they all go on about how he's actually their best player. And I'm like, but why? You've got Salah and Mane back, and yeah, but that's because he creates the goals.
Did they really say he's their best player?
They do, yeah, literally. They're like,
hell.
we drop Firmino, and I'm like, well, you have to drop Firmino because Jota's played so well. No, we can't drop Bobby. I'm like, but fine, and I do understand he creates a lot more chances for the players around him.
I don't think he even does that anymore.
Because Giroud does that for us, and people don't understand that when you don't have that player. But yeah, I mean, and he's got ability, but play him in midfield then.
Oh, but Dave, he's just a defensive midfielder. Play him in goal. Oh, he's just a left-wing goalkeeper. What can I say? He drives me nuts. The thing is, he's got the ability. There's no putting it past him. But and I don't even think his attitude's bad. But I don't know. It's just not been clicking for a while for him. The only thing I like about him is that bloody song they sing about him. And it just gets stuck in my head for the rest of the day. I feel it's weird because you're so used to seeing Mane, Salah and Firmino. But I would rather see Mane, Salah, Shaqiri, Mane, Salah, Jota. I think if they played Jota against us, they would have beaten us.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
maybe.
The thing is, Liverpool. You don't complain about Firmino the whole time Mane and Salah are scoring, which they score ridiculous amounts for wingers. And granted, I think Salah could play up front if he wanted to, but you can't blame them. You can't blame Salah and Mane for them not scoring as many because you've got to be able to rely on your striker sometimes. And that's I know people have barren runs, but I feel like we've said it so many times as we've gotten to these attacking players. I feel like he's having a barren century at the moment. I would have money. Do you know what? I'd rather put money on Chris Wood scoring in his next game than Bobby Firmino.
Yeah,
I like Bobby. This is what annoys me. I really like him. I don't think his attitude stinks. I think he seems like a really funny guy. And he seems like he gives a shit about Liverpool, which I love. But great, so did Ricky Lambert. Ricky Lambert was a Liverpool fan. They got rid of him when he got rubbish, which was the first day. I mean, I love Ricky Lambert, but how he got to Liverpool. They didn't call him bloody Bobby Lambino, did they? So bad. But you know what I mean? Like, if this was not a Brazilian who's starting for Brazil every game, he would have been told to do one, like Origi is at the moment. And like the people say, like, Oh, Firmino would. There was that whole thing. Klopp was hinting towards Firmino would have scored that Origi chance against us. Would he? I don't think so. I think he would have tried and done like 2 turns, spin around the goalkeeper, and then pass it back to Wijnaldum. And everyone, all the Liverpool fans at home would have gone, oh, look at that, Bobby. Oh, he's so defensive. It's beautiful.
Oh, dude, that's actually a really good shout. You'll get a lot of abuse for that, but it's a good shout. Okay, my one. Okay, so I knew this would happen, so I put backups in because the striker I went for was Benzema, but I knew that you would pick him.
I'm so sorry.
Because
we should have compared before doing
this. Because he's very overrated, so I put backups there next to him. And the guy that I put in there next to put into the Benzema, if you said Benzema, which I knew you would, this guy, I think, had one good season, and then everyone alluded to him being, as good as Drogba, one of the best strikers in the world, and I honestly didn't see it. He got bought for a ridiculous sum of money at the time. Went on to play for Real Madrid. How he ended up at Real Madrid, I have no idea. Then went to all these other Premier League clubs and just rubbish, just absolute rubbish. Like, as I said, one good season, and all of a sudden everyone's like, this guy is the next greatest thing. I've gone for Emmanuel Adebayor.
I bloody love him though. I think he's hilarious. He's one of my favourite Premier League players, and not because he was good.
He's just rubbish. It was a close call between him and Lacazette, but I went for Adebayor.
I thought of Lacazette.
Just because Adebayor is still playing. Well, no, Adebayor's not playing anymore. And it's an all-time thing. But he had one good season at Arsenal where he scored a few good goals, and everyone was like, he's the next Didier Drogba. Went to City, and all he's remembered for at Man City was running that celebration.
That's one of the best days of my life, Dave. Don't take that away from me.
That's all he's going to be remembered for.
That's every fan that's every non-Arsenal fan's dream. Going and running and celebrating in front of Arsenal fans who are angry.
I respect him to doing that, but if that's all you're being remembered for.
Any other team, I would have gone, well, why are you doing that, you bloody moron? But because it was Arsenal and Adebayor, I thought, no, you carry on, mate.
Oh, the funny thing going on to Adebayor moments is when he was on air at the 2010 World Cup, and his phone went off, and he turned it off when they were live on air, and it was his wife ringing him saying that she was going into labour.
Basically, did he score 100 Premier League goals?
Oh God, no! What do you want about?
He must have scored a fair few, to be honest. Though he was in the Premier League so long.
He was rubbish. Like, he was absolutely rubbish. And I think every person, like Tom, like my mate Tom in Tottenham, when he was at Tottenham, everyone was like, he's actually not that good, because he wasn't. He's not.
I don't think anyone thought they were good, did they?
He was just a bit. He was bumbling. The media sort of gave him this loving, like he was Didier Drogba, or he was this bullying striker, and he did nothing. So yeah, I went with Adebayor.
Oh, bloody loved him though.
Lovely guy, I'm sure, a very nice guy, but a very overrated footballer.
Oh, what a sad! I love Adebayor. I'm gutted to end it this way. Let's just talk about Lloris some more. That made me feel better.
Oh, dude, that was good fun. I enjoyed that. So, my overrated team for all of it: Edison in goal, Carvajal at right back, Marcelo left back, Shawcross and Koscielny at centre back, Mikel, Busquets, and Harry Winks, and my three up front: Martial, Downing, and Adebayor.
In a world where we live, that would be the funniest front three.
No, that for me is the worst nightmare of a team to ever line up. And
imagine Downing just marching up next to Martial.
And I'll give Busquets captaincy for being the most overrated.
So mine is Lloris, and I'm not even going to call him Hugo like they do on the TV. Clichy, David Luiz, Gerard Piqué, Dani Alves, Neymar, Ozil, Hargreaves. Again, I'd love to see Hargreaves and Ozil line up next to each other. Ginola, Firmino, Bobby Firmino, and Karim Benzema. It's easy to get those two mixed up. Also, here's one. I'm making you think on the fly. Who would you put as manager? And also, I'd make Hargreaves my captain.
Overrated manager, Marco Silva.
Oh, David. All right, I've got to think of someone else. Bear with me.
Your guy? Is that your guy?
Yeah.
Just, that didn't do anything. That every job he went
do you know the mad thing is?
He's going to do it.
Do you know the mad thing is? When he was at Watford, and the season we finished 7th, Watford were one place above us, must have been about a quarter of the way in the season, and we played them on Sky Sports. And it was when Marco Silva was being linked with the Everton job initially. And everyone was going, oh, Marco Silva, this amazing manager. Oh, blah, blah. Oh, they're going to get into Europe this year. And then we went and absolutely stuffed them. And then Marco Silva didn't win another game as Watford manager. And and we went above them. And no one even spoke about us getting into Europe. And who got into Europe? We did.
If you want to go Marco Silva, I'll go Mark Hughes. Another very...
my other one was Alan Pardew.
Yeah, not a bad shout.
Actually, we didn't do underrated manager. Can I throw a really good shout for underrated manager? I'm not even going to say Sean Dyche because that's just like part and parcel. Yeah, underrated, Alan Kirbishley.
Ooh, Alan Kirbishley.
Did fucking wonders with Charlton. Absolute wonders. And didn't even get the light of day.
No. Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I don't think he's like... I don't mean it in like... He's probably the best underrated manager, but he didn't get the light of day yet doing crazy thing. Like, getting Charlton at one point in their first season into 4th, I know for a little bit.
Didn't he keep West Ham up as well?
Yeah, him and Pardew did a straight swap, didn't they? As managers.
My
word. There you go. Oh, there's a bit of full circle for you. Pardew and get Kirbishley all over again, but my underrated versus overrated.
Oh dear.
Wait, go on, you two, underrated manager.
My underrated manager? Oh my god, that's hard.
Jurgen Klopp.
Underrated? No, not Jurgen Klopp. Definitely not Jurgen Klopp. Very overrated. But no, he's good.
Oh! You thought the Bobby Firmino backlash was going to be bad.
No, he's not overrated, but like everyone rates him.
No, I'm taking a piss.
Oh, that's hard. That is very hard.
Oh, Steve Keane. Underrated in my eyes. Absolute legend. Taking Blackburn down.
Thomas Tuchel. Actually, no. I'm going to go for this guy because I actually think he was a very good manager. He's only just come to my head. Marcelo Lippi.
Oh my word, that's taking it back, Dave.
I actually think he won the World Cup with Italy, and actually when they won the World Cup, they didn't actually have the best team. They really didn't. And
they were lucky though. I mean, not lucky, but there were so many things that played into their way. Yeah, true.
I'll go Marcelo Lippi actually because I really rated him, but he
also
never
10 out of 10 name.
He never got put up there for the best. Actually, I don't understand why not because if you win a World Cup, I think that's immediately on your CV.
Actually, another one underrated. I wouldn't have put him as the most underrated, but someone who did bloody bits with Wigan, Paul Jewell.
Yeah,
Paul Jewell. Did you remember? So before he went to Derby, he was one of the most wanted managers by mid-table to lower mid-table Premier League teams.
Yeah.
Why he went to Derby? I think I'd heard him say that was the biggest regret of his life. Understandable. Absolute mess.
Yeah, I'll go Marcelo Lippi as my underrated.
Well, actually, we did so well. Seeming we didn't confer at all. We didn't even mention any names on this. We hardly had any, besides right at the end, we hardly had any similar ones. And our teams were very different.
They're very different. Actually, can you imagine those two? Do you know what we have to do? Oh, no, we can't because they're from different eras. We have to
I'm not having to go and have to make Owen Hargreaves players. Curly hair. More curly. Even more curly.
Oh, dear.
You probably do it on Football Manager, to be fair.
Literally. We should do that. And then see who... Oh, dear.
Imagine Alan Kirbishley managing Mesut Ozil. Oh, no, I got it wrong way around. Alan Pardew managing Mesut Ozil. And Alan Kirbishley managing bloody Robin Van Persie, Vidic and Van der Sar.
He'll just nut him.
Isn't it? Sorry, I just bringing it up, and I think I mentioned this to someone the other day. It might be you even. Isn't it weird that Kirbishley's never come back to management?
Yeah, he's with Phil Thompson and all that now, isn't he?
It's strange. I think like this was a guy who's never really done too bad of a job. Let bloody Mark Hughes and all this get jobs like nobody's business.
I know. Yeah, Sam Allardyce.
Oh, do you know what? We haven't spoken about this week's football, and I'm sure we can just recap it next week. Oh my word, West Brom are in some big trouble. I know losing to City's one thing, but oh my word, that's all I can say.
Awful.
Right, have you got any more underrated or overrated comments?
Underrated? Oh no, I haven't got anything at the moment. Most underrated season at the moment. It's a brilliant season.
I heard even on TalkSport someone say it's literally been a roller coaster for everyone. One minute you're like buzzing, next minute you're really down on the season, and the next minute, oh bloody loving it again.
Honestly, I have no idea who's gonna. Okay, let's do this very quickly to end it off. We're halfway through the season. Who's gonna win it?
Man City.
I'm going to go Liverpool. Because I think they will claw it back.
I just feel it's kind of like Man City just kind of going under the radar at the moment. And I think they'd rather have it that way.
Yeah, true. I'll go Liverpool.
It could. Do you know what? I really hope it's someone random. I know you don't want it to be Tottenham, but I would like it to be Tottenham. I'd like it to be... But actually, I would like it to be someone random who's won it before, who's seen their team lift a title. Because I would hate for anything for someone to miss out, like Liverpool fans did, on missing their first Premier League title lift.
Yeah, I know what you mean, actually.
I thought that was... See, I'd quite like Chelsea to win it. Just... Not because... I do like Chelsea,
I'd love us to win it.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind as a Chelsea fan. Neither here or there, to be honest.
I'll go Liverpool. I do think Liverpool will come back, and with the way the points are at the moment, it's still so open. Liverpool are not out of this by any stretch.
Well, Leeds have a good chance. I'm sure they'll tell us. They still could win it.
They're playing good football.
Yeah, playing brilliant football. Losing to 0 every game. Oh, we're catching up with you, Leeds. Right. Do the normal. Stay safe. Listen to whatever your governments are saying. And just protect your friends, protect your family.
Yeah, it's so true. And the vaccine is going around. More and more people I know have had it now. So just hold in, and then we'll be all right. And
remember, as sad as you might be, you'll get to listen to one of us really upset next week. That's a guarantee.
It's the Manson Avenue Derby. And
it's live. Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.